Good morning and welcome back for chapter 14 of First Samuel part 2. Um, and I want to correct myself right away. At the end of my last video, I said that Jonathan was David's son. That is not true. Jonathan, if you were listening from the beginning of the chapter, you will have heard correctly that Jonathan was Saul's son. And Jonathan and David become very close friends, as you'll see as we continue. So, yes, they're peers. And I also had some questions because, excuse me, because Jonathan was not, you know, Samuel's son, he was Saul's son. And he was kind of saying, oh, the Lord is going to, if this or that happens, that's a sign from the Lord. And I was like, how did he know? It doesn't say in the text that he heard this from a prophet or inquired of God. And so I was curious about that, and was God going to fulfill the word that he um, gave to, or that Jonathan was taking as a sign? So let's keep reading, and then I'll have some commentary on that. Okay? All right. All right. So the ground had stood. It said that it was a panic sent by God. This panic in the Philistine camp. Saul's lookouts at Gibeah and Benjamin saw the army melting away in all directions. Then Saul said to the men who were with him, "Muster the forces and see who has left us." When they did, it was Jonathan and his armor bearer who were not there. Saul said to Ahijah, "Bring the ark of God." At that time, it was with the Israelites. Okay? Or bring the ephod is another translation of that. Okay. While Saul was talking to the priest, the tumult in the Philistine camp increased more and more. So Saul said to the priest, "Withdraw your hand." Then Saul and all his men assembled and went to the battle. I'm not sure what that means when Saul asked the priest to withdraw his hand. Then Saul and all his men assembled and went to the battle. Maybe they weren't supposed to go into battle. I can't remember that part. Might have to look back over my last chapter. They found the Philistines in total confusion, striking each other with their swords. Wow. Those Hebrews who had previously been with the Philistines and had gone up with them to their camp went over to the Israelites who were with Saul and Jonathan. When all the Israelites who had hidden in the hill country of Ephraim heard that the Philistines were on the run, they joined the battle in hot pursuit. So on that day the Lord saved Israel, and the battle moved on beyond Bethaven. Now the Israelites were in distress that day because Saul had bound the people under an oath, saying, "Cursed be anyone who eats food before evening comes, because I have avenged myself on my enemies." So none of the troops tasted food. The entire army entered the woods, and there was honey on the ground. When they went into the woods, they saw the honey oozing out, yet no one put his hand to his mouth because they feared the oath. But Jonathan had not heard that his father had bound the people with the oath. So he reached out the end of the staff that was in his hand and dipped it into the honeycomb. He raised his hand to his mouth, and his eyes brightened. Then one of the soldiers told him, "Your father bound the army under a strict oath, saying, 'Cursed be anyone who eats food today.' That's why the men are faint." Jonathan said, "My father has made trouble for the country. See how my eyes brightened when I tasted a little of this honey? How much better it would have been if the men had eaten today some of the plunder they took from their enemies. Would not the slaughter of the Philistines have been even greater?" Okay, I'm going to stop there and do a little bit of commentary about the success of this battle, right? So, Jonathan